Chicago, 1996, lyric opera. I'm 24 years old, sitting in the dark, watching Catherine Malfitano cradle a severed head. She's singing to it, caressing it, and then she kisses it, full on the lips. Easily one of the most shocking and unforgettable moments in the operatic repertoire. I think everyone remembers the first time they saw Salome. This is the opera that made Richard Strauss rich and famous, got banned in a bunch of countries, and proved that scandal could be more profitable than respectability. And it all started in 1905. 1905. Richard Strauss is 41 years old with 2 opera flops behind him. I call them flopras. And he's desperate for a hit. 3 years earlier, in 1902, he saw Oscar Wilde's play Salome and smelled money. Not artistic glory per se, money. Because this play was scandalous. Banned in England for years. A teenage girl obsessed with a prophet. A striptease for her creepy stepdad. A beheading. Necrophilia. Strauss knew exactly what he was doing. He set Wilde's text almost word for word to music. Dresden, December 1905. The premiere gets 38 curtain calls. But here's where it gets interesting. It was immediately banned in Vienna until 1918, in England until 1910, shut down after 1 performance at the Metropolitan Opera in New York. And yet, by the end of 1907, just 2 years later, Salome had been performed in more than 50 German and foreign cities, 50 times in Berlin alone by November 9th of that year. Strauss literally built a villa on the proceeds. He quit all of his side hustles, conducting gigs, teaching, and just composed from that moment forward. This was the first time in history an opera became an enormous commercial success because it was scandalous. Salome didn't just survive controversy, it weaponized it. So how did a German composer and a dead Irish poet and playwright end up creating the scandal of the century? Oscar Wilde wrote Salome in French in 1891 while living in Paris. It was supposed to premiere in London with Sarah Bernhardt, but the Lord Chamberlain banned it. Too blasphemous, too sexual. Wilde never saw it performed. He died in 1900, broke and exiled in Paris. Richard Strauss saw a German production in 1902 and immediately started composing. He didn't ask permission from Wilde's estate. Wilde was dead. The play was controversial, and Strauss wanted to move fast. Here's the thing about Strauss. He wasn't a revolutionary. He was a pragmatist, a businessman. He saw a scandalous property, calculated the risk, and bet that controversy would sell tickets. He was right. But what makes this partnership fascinating is that Wilde's text, dripping with symbolism, obsession, and psychological darkness, found the perfect match in Strauss's music. Strauss wasn't just setting words to music, he was amplifying Wilde's depravity with sound. The result was something that neither man could have created alone. An opera that felt modern, dangerous, and impossible to look away from. Okay, so why does Salome still work? Why do I still buy tickets 28 years after the first time I saw it in Chicago? 3 reasons. First, it starts immediately and doesn't stop. No overture, no slow build. The curtain opens and you're thrown into Herod's palace with guards arguing about Salome. One act, no intermission, under 2 hours. And this is key, people. Wagner had trained audiences for endless 4 or 5 hour epics. And guess what? It's the 20th century now, ain't nobody got time for that. Strauss understood that modern audiences wanted intensity, not endurance. Researching this video, I queued it up on YouTube thinking that I'd skim through it, but I got sucked into watching the whole damn thing. Second, every staging tells a different story. I've seen productions where the severed head is realistic and grotesque. I've seen it stylized as a golden mask. I've seen the entire final scene flipped into Salome's imagination, with John the Baptist, head still intact, accepting her advances instead of rejecting her. And that's the genius of this piece. The music is so psychologically rich that directors can interpret it a dozen different ways, and it still works. Third, the music is gorgeous and disturbing at the same time. Strauss gives Salome these soaring, beautiful melodies while she's singing to a severed head. It's seductive and revolting. You feel guilty for enjoying it, and that's exactly the point. The Dance of the Seven Veils, basically a striptease, is one of the most famous orchestral passages in opera. It's sensual, it's virtuosic. It's deeply uncomfortable because you know what's coming next. You know she's dancing to manipulate her stepdad into giving her a man's head. That's why people still feel guilty about loving this opera, even today. It's too beautiful to dismiss and too disturbing to embrace without reservation. Strauss understood that tension, and he exploited it brilliantly. Here's why Salome is a watershed moment, and why I'm starting this series in 1905. Before Salome, scandal and intrigue weren't exactly common in the music world. Composers wanted respectability. Premieres were supposed to be triumphs, not riots. Getting banned was a failure, not a marketing strategy. Salome changed the game. It gave composers permission to take risks, to lean into scandal rather than avoid it. It proved that controversy could be more profitable than playing it safe. Look what happens after 1905. 8 years later, in 1913, a ballet. A ballet caused an actual riot.
The storm broke.
It was full of very noisy public. I went out, I said, go to hell. Excuse me. They came for Scheherazade or for Cleopatra. And they saw the Sacre du Printemps. They were very shocked. They were very naive and stupid people.
That's the next video in this series, The Rite of Spring. This is my favorite decade in all of classical music history. But here's what I want to know from you. What other work from 1905 to 1914 belongs on this list? I had to cut several pieces to keep this series focused, but I want to hear what you think. Drop it in the comments, if there's enough demand, I'll make a bonus video on the top request. And if you want more deep dives on the moments that shook classical music, subscribe, damn it, so you don't miss the next one. Seriously, it helps more than you think. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.